Hello, everybody. We've got a special little thing for you today. We're going to be playing Pax Viking with a special early access special early access teach and playthrough. So yeah, let's see how that goes. And with us, we've got Alan. Hello there, Alan. And we've got Pete.
Hello.
Hi there. So, yeah, we are the WBG community. So the no, I can't hear Alan either. Don't worry.
Oh, really? You can't hear me?
There you go. That's better.
You didn't answer when he introduced you.
Yeah.
Oh, didn't I? I did. I did. But I did it in mime. So
fair enough. Fair enough. So yeah, no, we've got a special game going on today. Welcome to the WBG community, and we are a board games based community from London. So that's what we do. There he is. What a disappointment. Yeah. No. Hello there, Ross. Hello there, Stu. Hi there, Tom.
Hey.
Welcome to the stream. So, Pete, over to you. What have we got here?
Wonderful. No, great. Okay, so this is going to be a teach of Pax Viking. So this is a Ion Games design game that's basically in its late stages of development. So I'm just going to be introducing it as it is now, version 0.69. So there are some great components out here, as you're going to see in TCS as we play, but just so that you know, this isn't the final product. It will still be going through development. And indeed, you know, over the recent games I've been playing, the game itself has changed and the rules have changed, so the rules will still be developed from today, basically. But here we are. Each of us are three different Jarls who are basically Vikings, lords, ladies, and we're aiming to unite the Yardens to become the first king or queen of Sweden. So this is basically a strategic and historical tile-laying game for 1 to 6 players. It's a game of trade, diplomacy, influence in the 10th century. And what this game really tries to highlight, it seems to me, is a historically accurate portrayal of Vikings. So in all the wonderful illustrations that we've got here, you're not going to see any horns on helms or anything like that. And you might be surprised to see how there might not necessarily be as much combat and invasion as you might imagine, because actually a lot of Vikings went out and did a lot of trading. And so what's a real highlight for this game is how, not to say that there isn't any combat, there can totally be combat if that's what players choose to do. But one of the highlights of this game is that we have Vikings traveling eastward, as historically they did. And so what we have here is the map of Europe and the Near East. And so in the game, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be launching our longships. So as an example, here I have my longship piece here. I'll be starting in this Wens area, which is basically the equivalent of Poland. And we're going to be traveling through the map, establishing trade ventures, often in these empty spaces here that you see around the map. Or establishing trade centers, so in the grey locations that you can see around the map. Or indeed gaining powerful allies, and that's particular in this game because they're all here in the top left-hand corner. Iceland, Greenland, even down here, Normandy. These are all powerful allies. But also, we'll be making powerful friends. So if I can just take your attention over to this side of the board, we have cards that represent powerful friends, and even we might end up worshipping different divine gods or goddesses. Up here we have another one as well. So what's the game about? What is it that we're doing? So I just want to draw your attention to my player board, my Jarl board down here. So what we have is a system of, like I said, going out with our longboats, exploring the map. But what we're going to be doing is trying to get out all these different follower pieces that you can see here on either side of the ship. And we're going to be doing that by playing these different actions at the bottom. I'm just doing a quick summary at the moment of what's going on, but I'm going to go into more detail in a minute. So we have our ships, we have our followers, we have spaces here for where our gods might go, our friends, and then we even have a special ability. But I'm going to draw your attention to where it all begins, our home here. So in this case, my home is the white and red marker. So if we go back to the map over here, this is where I begin. What I've done for this teach is I've already placed all the three players, us, our longships, on our starting position. So my white is here, Dom's yellow longship is there, and Alan's blue longship starting position is here. But in the game, it's possible to start all the way over in the Near East as well, like over here or down here in the Black Sea as well. But as it turns out, we randomized before the stream who each of us are, and we've started up in these positions up here.
Fair enough.
So let's go back to talking about the longships. Longships start at home, and these home positions are basically where we start and where we launch our longships from. And every time we launch a longship, we have to always launch it into the sea space next to it. And what we're going to be doing is moving step by step. So from my home space into a sea space, that would be 1. And then perhaps, let's say I wanted to go into the Wens region, that would be 2. And then finally, if I wanted to go into an empty space, that would be 3. Or for example, I could go into the Baltic Sea and enter this region. Or I could go off to the North Sea and then down and around, and so on and so forth. I'll go into more detail in a bit.
Cool.
But let's look back at the map itself. So, like I said, we have our home starting regions, and then our homes, basically. We have the regions themselves. So each region is surrounded by black or white lines and has usually 2, but not only 2 locations in it. And so locations can be these empty spaces here that we're going to be putting tiles into, or coming up to this place here, like I said before, we can sometimes have trade centers, and so they're distinguished by empty space, as you can tell, or a sort of silvery grey outline, that's a trade center, or going back to the powerful alloys I talked about before, it's kind of like this bronzy color. So that's the way we distinguish between these three main locations. There is also an extra distinction, like we go back down here to the south. There are these trade centers, but they have a bronzy gold key symbol as well. And so they are trade centers, but they're special. And I'll go into those in a bit.
So just to recap, the tin or silvery colours, they're trade centres, and the bronze are allies.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah. So we're moving our longships around, and the white borders are borders that we can travel into, and the black borders are ones that we can't, often because there are mountains or impassable terrains in them. And often the reasons why we can move longships into regions is because there's like a river going along. So as you can see here, but then there's the south of Poland, there's the Tatler Mountains, and so we're not going to get our longships across those. So there's a black line there, so we couldn't get across. So if I wanted to go down here into the Bulgar area, I'd have to either take my longship all the way around and then into the Black Sea and in, because as you might notice, there's a white line here, but there's a black line here, so I couldn't come in from the Mediterranean Sea. Or I could come in through this way, down south through this white line here, and then
Down
into
through the rivers.
Black Sea south. Sorry?
You're basically following those rivers, are you? Is that?
Yeah, generally. And if you look closely at the pictures, you can actually see a figure of two people carrying a longship, just to sort of demonstrate the way it works. So, yeah, so like, for example, getting into the Caspian Sea over here, that's a quite tricky one. You can't come in through Khazar on the left. You have to come in through Bertus or Cumania on the top. And I don't want there to be any confusion about the way the regions work, so I'm just going to talk about them a little bit longer. So basically, a region itself, so let's talk about Vens again. You can have a land region or region, and basically each of them will have a few locations in them. But what happens is that you either, from the sea region, enter straight into the land region, or sometimes if we go over to North Sea, we enter straight into location. And the way you can tell that is because there are these harbour symbols next to locations themselves. And so if a location, and a location again is just like these circular spaces that we can go into, if it has a harbour, then you can only enter that location through the harbour. So for Normandy, because of this black line around France, it's impossible to go from the North Sea into France and then into Normandy. You can only go from the North Sea into Normandy. The same for Dublin. You can't go into Ireland. You can only go from the North Sea into Dublin. And also, to get into a location that's in a region without a harbour, like in Vens again, you'd need to spend one movement to go into the Vens, the region, and then spend another movement to go into that location. And to come out again, you'd have to do the opposite. You'd go into the region, and then you go into the sea. So
you can finish your move in any of those places. You can finish your move in a river, in a location, or Okay.
But often it is important, if you want to do a particular type of action, where you do that action from, but I'll talk about that in more detail in a minute. But there's one more thing I want to point out about the general map itself. So if we look at the compass over here, the game uses the term winds. So there's the north, east, south, and west wind. And if you look at the general map, you will notice that each of the winds is actually separated in the map. So north is more blue, which is separated here, like in this round circular area, whereas the west, it's separated down this line here, like down that line, that separates the north and the west. Again, here it's separated, and here, because that's the north, that's the west, that's all of these areas is west. This is east, this green area here. And then finally, south is the Abbasid, Khazar, Byzantine, Bulgar, all of those areas as well. And often, right next to the name of the area, you can often see the compass sign as well. So like here, it says south. And that can be important as well. Why? Because of the tiles. So let's talk about the tiles now. I'd like to draw your attention to this long line of cards. As is often the case in the Pax game, you have a market. In this game, it's called the Saga track. So you have all these cards, and you have the deck on the top, Saga deck. But let's focus on the bottom three at the moment. What we have is basically, like I said before, a tile laying game, and you have four main types of tiles. Those are venture tiles, which is this tile here, friend tiles, this one here. What I'll do actually for the sake of illustration, I'll move these cards around. This is a teaching game. We have God's tiles and then finally event tiles. Now, the tile anatomy is separated by at the top, you have what the tile symbol is. So the adventure tiles have got this sort of stone and adventure symbol. Then you have the name of the region itself. And so the region can be very specific. So if we look over here, we have India. Well, let's look at the tile itself. So the tile is, oops. The tile is sphere. So all the way over here, this region is sphere, but you can have
You can have what? Sorry, Pete. I think we've run into a bit of an audio issue. I'm sure it'll. There we go.
And also, has Alan dropped out of the TSS?
I'm sure he'll be back momentarily.
Yeah, we can keep going with them until he gets back. But basically, just in case you didn't catch that, so for the tile anatomy, under the symbol, you have the name of the region.
Right, okay.
This one is sphere.
Yeah.
But that one, as I pointed out, is east. So sphere is a particular region on the map.
Yeah.
The east, obviously, is a whole wind.
Refers to the whole region, yeah, the wind area.
Yeah, the whole wind area. So basically, to play a tile, you need to have a longship in that area. So for the sphere example, if I go back to sphere, my longship has to be in a location in sphere to be able to play that tile. Sure. Whereas for east, if I come over here, my longship needs to be on a location anywhere here in east.
Yeah, I think Alan's just crashed. I'm sure he'll be back momentarily.
I think he can hear me anyway, though, can't he? Because he'll be on the Discord audio.
I don't think he's on Discord. I think something's crashed. I'm not sure.
Ah, okay. Well, what would you suggest we do?
No worries. We can always just recap briefly on where we've come to, but like so far, very pretty game. That would be my first reaction.
Yeah, you might
want
to show off some of the images.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Very nice.
Yeah.
It's a shame I haven't got the name of the artist at hand. Maybe it'll be in the rule book.
Absolutely.
They have two wonderful artists working in I'm Game Design, working on this project.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Maybe someone can find it and put their names up on Twitch. But...
Yeah, there you go. That's a challenge for the chat. Find out who the artists are.
Mm-hmm. I wish I had like Alan's number to maybe call him or something.
I'm in touch with him. He sent a message to us saying that his Discord has crashed or something. He's crashed out.
Computer's exploded.
Well, you know, it's Murphy's Law, right?
Mm.
These things do happen. And especially when you're filming them. Hey, welcome back.
Hello. Yeah, sorry. Everything just frozen died.
No worries.
Well, you can hear us now, which is good.
Yep. So basically, I think correct me if I'm wrong, Pete, but basically what Pete was saying is that these different tiles on the saga track, below each one, you have to have a longship in the region or the kind of country that it says. So the bottom one in Svea, you have to have a longship in Svea. But for example, over for East, and you've got Idun, which is the god, Idun.
Yeah.
You'd have to have a longship in any of the eastern wind area.
Which is the green.
Which is
But being in the region, that means in one of the circles, or could it be in the river?
To play a tile, you have to be in the location, in a circle, yeah.
Okay, and it has to be a blank tile. It has to be a blank space, I suppose.
Not necessarily. So if you're putting down a venture, I'll go into all the details in a bit. If you're putting down a venture, you can replace another venture that's already in place.
In the chat has come through for us.
Awesome.
We've got an artist. It's, hang on, one tick. Oh, I can't see it from the computer. It is Madeline Fjol or Fjol. Madeline Fjol.
That's it, yeah. I remember now. Wonderful. There is another artist as well, and I know that she's also got a Twitch channel.
Amazing. Let's go have a look.
So just to go back to the tiles again, another really important thing, and indeed an important thing for the whole game, is these symbols here, which are follower symbols. And they relate to, back at the player board, if we have a look, to 4 follower pieces that we have here. So what are they? The top left one is the Jarl followers. So there is like some sort of thematic relevance to each of them. I don't know if I can quickly pull them up just to explain what they all are. Let me quickly see.
Symbol for the different type has to match what's on the card.
Basically, the Jarl, as you can imagine, it's like there's different impulses in the game. So, and even down to region as well. So you have the Swedish ones here to the right. So I'll go the top 2 and the bottom 2. So the Jarl one is more, in a sense, combative in terms of the traditional invaders of the Vikings. The Swedish one is more a kind of consolidation of the power of the Swedes, because we are all supposed to represent Swede Jarls, even though we may have, travelled quite far away from that area. And the bottom left, in the traditional cross, is theology. And then on the right
is that anything to do with the? Oh, okay. I was going to say, is that anything to do with the Rus?
So the theology is to do with the expansion of Christianity. Rus is to do with the more complicated relationship between Sweden and Russia, which included all different types of kind of relationships, but some of them were a little bit nefarious, like even incorporation of slavery and things like that. But basically, the 4 of them represent 4 different types of followers that you can have as you travel through the game, because as you can imagine, let me just give you a concrete example. So Svea, let's say I had a longship on Svea, and I was to play Svea down. On the top left-hand side, you can see that there's a Sweden follower symbol. So what I would do is I would take one of my Sweden followers and I would put it down on the follower, onto the tile, to show white that it's now my venture, but also to show that I have a Swedish follower. And going back to the player board, it's quite useful that it gives us the numbers once we take the pieces off, which is quite familiar sort of aspect in games these days. So what was I going to talk about next? Oh yeah, so I'm going into the I'll put that back. So I'm going into the details basically of the cards themselves. So below follower, we have the effect of the tile itself. So for this one, game does use different symbology, so we'll go through it as we play. But the good thing is with this, as with many PAX games, often you can just explain what comes up in the cards. So in terms of Svea, it's gain 4 coins, money, which in this game is called silver. So gain 4 silver and pay 1 silver to a co-located rival. So co-located rival would be, so for Svea, if there was someone else, like for example in Burka, I took 4, I'd have to pay them 1. If there wasn't anyone there, I could keep all 4. And then just below that, there's often a name and some thematic text sometimes. So this is to do with iron trade.
Co-located means what? They're in the
same region.
In the same wind region.
No, within
in the same...
So here's the sphere. See how the word sphere is in the region itself? So, and that region is surrounded by this black line. So that includes Berka and this empty location, which is called sphere. So that's where there are nuances in this game. So you have so you might have cards like the one I just showed you that it's sphere, but you might also have cards that say Berka. So that would be specific just to that trade center there.
You have more than one player in the same sort of circle, can you? It's the same space?
You can. I'll go into that in a minute, but often almost always, you can only play tiles onto a location if you are the only person with a longboat there. So then there might be some conflict or something to make sure that you get that location or that venture out. But I'll go into specifics in a bit. But just to sort of move on with the teacher a little bit, I'll talk about the next 2 types of cards. So friends and gods. So it's the same situation. So for this friend here, so this is a Khazar friend, our friend Hastein. Now these tiles, like I said before, they don't get put on the map. They get put onto our player boards. So there's 2 positions for friends and 1 for gods. Sometimes some Jarls have got special abilities. Yep. So the yellow one, if we come over here, the special ability for Sigrid, the Haughty, is that actually she can put out a second god. And also underneath special ability says invest. So investing is actually buying from the saga track. But I'll go into that in more detail in a bit. But you can have up to 2 gods. You put your second god here on that space. And then when it says place 2, those symbols, that's a circle with all the different followers on. So you get to place 2 followers on this card. So
where would I place them? Sorry.
So with
I placed the god over here.
So you'd put your first god here, and then if you got another god, you would put it there.
Oh, okay, all right. Oh, because that's the special ability.
And if you got a third one, you'd have to swap one out, or you can't get a third one.
You'd have to swap it. Yeah, you'd have to get rid of one. Swap it. So that's where they go. And remember, just because they're not on the map, when they go on the player board, you still put your followers down on them. So they're very useful for getting out followers. Because again, I'd like to stress that followers is one of the main things that you'll be wanting to get out in the game. Okay. So that's gods, friends. So let's talk about the actual actions that you'll be doing. So if we come back down to my player board again. So under the name, you have the 5 main actions that you can do in the game. And then the 4 on the left, I'll be going into in more detail as we play our turns. So the first 4 are invest. So that's when you buy a tile from the saga track or pile. So basically, so going back over to the saga track, if we go and have a look at the saga deck, so you can buy a card blind from the saga deck. You take 1 and put that in your hand. And we're going to be playing with open hands in this game.
Sure.
Or you can actually buy, if we look at the bottom of the saga track again, you can silver. Buy, according to the price next to them. Sometimes you can get special abilities to change that, but as we play, we'll get to see that. But 1 for the first, 2 for
sure.
etc. So that's 1 turn. And when you take a turn, and in your turn, that's an action. In your turn, you'll be placing down these action tokens to mark that you've done actions. And you can put more than 1 action token on the same action. So I could do 3 invest and then 2 of the other, one of the other ones.
4 actions per turn.
4 actions per turn, yeah.
Generous.
So, just to explain that the sequence of play basically will be taking turns until someone's won the game. And in an individual player's turn, they'll be using these 4 action tokens. They'll be playing 4 actions, and then they'll be doing what's called a winter solstice, which is like a kind of income and cleanup. But I'll be going into more detail with that in a minute. But we'll be going by the turn order that TTS has set as well. So I'll start the game as well. So was that a question, Don?
I was just asking if we're going to be doing any feasting.
Feasting?
Yeah.
Where does that come through?
Oh,
I'm not sure.
You
might
do that
have
in
to
the
just
winter
assume
solstice.
that it happens sometimes when a great venture occurs or when a new trade center is being accomplished or something.
Any excuse for a feast.
Exactly. Yeah, I've got some biscuits ready anyway.
So what is the hand limit?
The hand limit is 4, but that can also change if you have special friends or gods and so on. And also to explain, in this game, we're playing a 3-player game. So as it stands, there's 12 tiles per player put into the Saga deck. So we're playing a game with 36 tiles. I can't remember exactly, but I'm sure there's over 200 tiles in the game. So there's a lot of replayability in this game.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow.
Yeah. So just before I take my first turn, I'll just finish off with a standard.
So there's no guarantee that you're going to necessarily get any gods at all, for example. There could be a game where you just... Right, okay.
But what's really cool is that they've developed quite a few ways that you can set this game up. So I'm going to be I've specifically set this up for the novice game, but you can seed tiles as well if you want to have exactly like 10% gods or whatever. You know, they give you a breakdown of what they think is best. So that's all in the rules. So the second action you can do is Journey, which basically is moving your longships. So you take the action and you can move up to 3 steps. And that doesn't have to be the same longship. Mm-hmm. But once... that's a mistake. That's one longship can move 3 steps. You don't divide those 3 steps up. Sorry about that. That was a bit of a mind part.
No worries.
What I meant to say then is that once a longship has taken a move, you can't then move again with another action. So that kind of limits how far you can go down in that, because you can't just with one longship put 4 action tokens down and move all the way to India or something like that.
You could move 4 different longships.
Yeah, 4 different longships, exactly. So the next one, invest. So establish, I mean. So basically, like I said before, so establish is basically, and actually they've changed, so this is going to change. They're calling that play now, but this is basically playing a tile onto the map or onto your player board. And so if there are no rival longships on that location, you can place or replace that tile, and then you put your follower down. And so if you're replacing as well, you take off the old follower and you put your new one down. So the next thing is activate.
And there's nothing to stop you just replace, as long as there's no longship there, you can replace any tile.
Yeah. And when I talk about parlay, we'll talk about potentially getting rid of composition. So activate is when you have that location established in terms of you having your longship and your follower on that location, you can then activate its ability. So let's say over here, if we look over here at Bertus, let's say I had played that tile there. As part of your play establish action, you get to do the action for free. So when I played that, the text here says return one of your longships to gain 3 silver. But then separate to that, you can also do an activate action, but each longship can only do an action on a tile once on a venture, once per turn. So if I played that tile down, I'd need to get another longship out there to be able to play that action again by activating. So just to be clear, that's like combinations of these two different actions that you can do. You can establish play to put the tile down, but then once it's there in later turns or in the same turn, you can then activate it. As long as obviously you have your follower and a longship on there, or if you wanted to do it second time, you'd have to put another longship on there. So finally, there's parley, which is the more antagonistic action. But also, it's a diplomatic one as well. So parley is either trade or conflict. So in the trade part, if a player shares with another player a location in terms of having longships on it, then they can trade silver or tiles from their hand. They can make deals as well, but as long as you understand that none of them are actually rules binding, that you might lose friends that way if you don't follow through your agreement. The other part of the parley action is actually the conflict seizing of locations. So let me just take one of your ships over there. Oh, it's going on top there. Let's say, so basically what you do is when you do the parley action, you compare strength points in essence. So each longship is worth 1, and each follower piece is basically a tiebreaker. So if the situation was one of each of our longships, then my follower would break that tiebreaker. And so so you work out the strength of the two conflicting players and their pieces, and then the loser has to immediately lose one of their ships, and it would go back to the player board. And if it was a situation where they had 2 ships, they would lose one, it would go off the board, and then one would have to immediately retreat off that space in whatever legal by the rules way it does. So in this case, it would be into that region, or if it was in, say, like this location here, it would have to go by the harbour into that sea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they have to retreat.
There are sometimes some exceptions to the way that works. Like, for example, it's quite easy to get player powers where a follower isn't just a tiebreaker. A follower actually gives you 1 combat point.
Mm-hmm.
And also sometimes there are special faction powers that enable you to have more points as well. But it's quite simple in that case. But also, just to point out, if the situation for some reason is equal in the parley, like if for some reason I didn't have the follower there, then both players are the weakest in that parley, and it would basically be like a kamikaze run. Both of the longships would be lost.
Back to the shipyard.
Back to the shipyard. And basically, your home dot is co-equivalent of your player board. So where you start there, Dom, is the same as your board. So all 6 of your longships kind of start there. But I just put that there just for the teach, just so that it's immediately obvious for people.
Yep, that's fine.
On there, do you lose your follower if you were to lose the region?
Right, yeah. And so the person who succeeds in the parley then immediately gets to place their follower onto that venture or that location, and therefore replace any previous ones there.
1 follower on 1 area, or per icon, I guess.
Yeah. So like I was saying before, there are these special key trades, and they have 2 icons. And just to go into a little bit more detail about these special ones, the trade centers and the powerful allies, they have a silver cost underneath them. And so no matter what the circumstance is, let's say, I went in there, I can only put followers down when I pay that cost. And that's the same if I had 2 down there, and then Dom, you came over and you defeated me, you wouldn't just replace mine for nothing. You'd have to pay the 9 cost, put 2 new followers on as well.
Just for the followers, not for the longships, though, right?
Not for the long ship, no. You
And
never
if you
pay for them.
and if you couldn't afford that, you just kick them off, and there'll be no followers
Kick
there.
them off and there'd be no followers, yeah.
Right.
So that can occur for sure. It's all down to what it is you want to accomplish, I guess.
Cool.
Well, let's put the pieces back, and I'll start my go before I go into a bit more.
And on these ones, you can have one of each different colour on here, can you? So
No. You can only one player, because in any circumstance to put followers down, you have to be the only person with long ships there, and you completely replace what is there.
So it'll be 2 actions to get 2 down. You'd have to pay 9 twice to get 2 down.
No, you pay once and you get both out.
Oh, I see. Okay.
With these locations with 2 out, you only get 2 out or nothing. There's never a possibility of only getting 1 out.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm just conscious that the only thing I haven't actually explained is the event cards, and I wanted to lead into the victory points, but I'll just explain one thing about the event cards. Event cards, basically, you pay for them and you put them in your hand, and then it's the same situation. So this north one that I'm looking at, you'd have to be in the north in a location in the north, with a longship, I mean, and then you would play it as an action, and so that's the same as that's the same action. Looking down here at the player board again, that's the same established play action on the board. So just to be clear, to put ventures out onto the map, to put friends or gods onto your player board, or to play an event, those are all this action. They're all established play actions. And obviously every event has different text, and we can go into that as we play the board.
What is a follower action?
So specifically, all the actions are down here. So there's the invest action, journey action, establish, activate, and parlay. And so basically, when you establish a card out on the board or into your player board, as part of that action, you get to put the follower out. So there's no specific follower action. Oh, sorry. There are these specific follower actions here on the left, but I want to go into them just once we start taking our turns.
That card refers to these 4 on the left here, I guess.
This north here, I didn't read it specifically. Use any one follower action yet. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, right, got it.
The only thing I wanted to mention basically is that when usually in a game, when you play an event, that's often a time when a victory condition can be triggered. But in this game, we're going to be playing the novice game, and so we're only going to be triggering the victory condition at the end of winter solstice. But let's just begin the game just to give you a feel of it before I explain the more complicated follower actions. So basically, I'm going to just do that. I'm going to journey. So I'm putting my action token down on journey. And I'm going to do what I was talking about before. I'm going to move into the Baltic Sea and into Svea with my longship. And then looking back over here at the saga track, I'm going to buy it. So I'm going to invest. So I take that first into my hand. So I'm just putting my hand down below my board. And that cost me 1. So we're using the counters here instead of the nice pieces just because it's easier. So that's cost me 1. And then I'm going to establish it. So that includes me. Oh, where did I? Oh, I've lost my. We don't see where I put that. We'll see it in a minute, I'm sure.
I'm sure we'll come to it. Yeah, don't worry.
I'll just take another one for now. So that happens automatically, like I said before, and so does the actual action. So I gain 4, and I don't have to pay 1 for co-rival because no one else is out there. So I'll put mine up to 6. Oops. And then I'll just move. I'll journey and get another ship out. Just for fun, but I'm going to Baltic. So I start here. So 1 into the Baltic Sea, 2 into Bjarmaland. And then 3, let's just say down to Pechenegs. So those are my 4 actions. So if we look back at the player board, here it explains what we do in the winter solstice. So first, if we have any unique followers out, we get 1 silver per unique follower. So by that they mean unique follower in terms of Jarl, theology, Sweden, or Rus. So for example, you could have 3 Swedes out, but you don't get 3 silver for it. You just get 1. So in this case, I just get 1. Discard tiles down to hand limit. So the hand limit is 4. So I'm fine with that. Check power markers. So this goes into the follow action. So what you do is you compare all the player boards of all the players playing, and you check to see who has the most of any particular type of follower. So I'm the only one with any followers out, and that's Swede. So that means that I now own the power marker of the Swede followers. So the way that works is we go up here to the follower action markers. So I take my one, I take it down, and so now that becomes one of my action tokens, and I have to replace my one up there just to show. Oh, hang on, did I take the right one?
You didn't take the Rus.
Oh, sorry. Oh, hang on, are they? Oh, were they swapped accidentally?
They were swapped, yeah.
That's all right then. All good, all good. Okay. So actually, well, that can segue into the victory conditions. So if we have a look at these victory conditions, so these are ways that you can win the game. And like I said, we're playing the novice sort of family teach game, and so we're only going to be playing with one of these cards. But I just wanted to show you all of them. And so the top left is Rus victory. So like I said, you check it during your winter solstice, and you have to have all of your Rus followers out. They have to all be placed, and then you win. And these other 4 are all the same, but with different followers. So the Jarl here, the Theocracy, and the Swede. So if you get them all out, and it's your winter solstice, you've won. This one is unique. The dominance victory, checked during your winter solstice. You have to have all 4 follower markers. So that in those terms, you have to have a majority in all 4, but not necessarily all 4 of a particular type. So I just have to have at least one of all of them, and they have to be more than the rest of you, and then I've won. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these all back together, shuffle them, flip them over, shuffle them, and what's going to happen is after the first event card has been played, we're going to reveal what our victory condition is. So we can play casually for now, and then we'll find out how we can win the game.
Sure.
There's one more thing. If we look back down at the winter solstice, to finish my turn, I have to restock the saga track. So that is done by refreshing the marker with this yellow button here in TCS. So basically, it will move them all down, and the top one's been refreshed.
Look at that script.
Click the end of my turn button.
Where is your turn button? Sorry.
And now it's Dom's turn.
Where was the turn button?
On your TTS, it's not.
The little yellow thing over on the right next to the saga.
That was refresh markets.
Oh, sorry.
No. Isn't it not visible to you on the top of your screen, just under notebook? It should be like a button you can press.
Oh, right. Okay. Yep. I've just got it. I've got it minimized. No worries. That's fine.
Awesome.
Cool. Okay. So, hi everybody in the chat. This is where you help me out. But yeah, okay. So, we've got the options down here, right? These are the things we can do. We can invest, we can journey, we can establish and activate, and parlay. Oops. So, we can buy from the saga track, we can move our ships, we can establish or place a tile. I'm guessing when you establish, you've got to own something from the saga track, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Into your homeland there.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I'm disgusted with Pete's Bellic approach to conquering Sphere.
Yeah.
That shall not stand.
He's not a co-located rival then, because he's in Sphere. His longboat's there. That doesn't count as co-located.
I don't believe it does. As it stands, let's say it's not, because I've never come across a situation where someone's said that it is. I think it's unique. It's not a location, the home. It's like a unique sort of space. It's not even a space in a sense. And the thing is, from it you can only journey into the sea. So you can never journey into the region from it either.
Okay, all
yeah,
right.
These two players would always be co-located, wouldn't they? Which doesn't probably make. Yeah.
For now, let's play. If I hear from Iron Game Design, that's not the case. But
yeah.
For now, let's play it like I've heard it's been played so far.
I mean, there's definitely precedent for interpreting the rules. We're not going too far. We're not exactly.
If you really wanted to, I don't mind sometimes.
No. I was just saying, we're not going to Durham or anything.
Yeah.
I think it makes sense. It's not, to be honest. Otherwise, it would always be, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
So I think it probably isn't. I think you're right. Yeah.
That's fine. Okay, cool.
The other thing I was just mention is that in the setup, with the 3 players, 3 cards have been seeded, so they're already out. So you can just go to them and take them in effect. And that's not totally impossible for you for that one. You can go into the Baltic Sea.
So I could move 1, I could move 2, and then
and then into the actual.
Wouldn't it? So okay, I'm going to do that because that. Let's make that. So I'm going to journey. So I take this and I stick that there.
Yeah.
And so I'm just going to ignore this person pillaging and raiding my homelands. So we're going to move into the sea as 1.
Yeah.
And then this whole track around here, that's 1, isn't it? So number 2 would be moving into the river.
Out the river, yeah.
And then number 3 would be moving into Sapmi.
Yeah.
Sapmi, yeah.
Okay, cool.
And then and then you can get that for free. Does he get that automatically now?
You still need to do an establish action.
Okay.
So okay, all right, but I can do that now, right? Because I've got 4 more things left to do. Okay, so I'm going to do an establish.
So as long as no rival is there.
No rivals around here.
So you can get the bottom thing.
And I get the Khazar.
The Khazar.
Khazar. Invest after buying 1 thing, gain 1 silver.
Yeah.
Well, that goes into your hand, right? Doesn't it?
That goes into your hand, yeah.
Just into your hand.
Just into my hand. Right. Okay, I see. Yeah, cool.
Also, you get that follow as well, and I do believe it's a Swede one. Yeah,
it is a Swede one.
Take one of your followers.
Oh, but that goes on, and now does that go? The follow goes on when he plays it, doesn't it? Or
no, when you establish, the follower goes on.
Okay. Cool. So I've just established.
What I like to do is just move it slightly off, so then it's easier for people to tell. Because some people have said that they find it a bit difficult to tell the difference between some of the blocks.
Yep, fair enough. That's fine.
The fur trade.
So you need to. Oh yeah, that's great.
What?
No, I was wrong. I'm wrong. So you can get another ship out or buy another card.
So how much silver do I have?
So you've got 3.
Oh, where's the Khazar region?
Okay, so the silver is the counter at the bottom. Where is the Khazar region? Khazar region is.
Yeah, maybe go down there.
Yeah, maybe go down there.
Remember, this is a friend card as well. It's not a venture. So you go there, and then it get played onto your board, and then you get the passive effect, which
to be able to play the card, doesn't it?
I see.
Every time you buy a card, so that's awesome.
Yeah, but he has to be in Khazar to be able to play the card, right? to be able to establish it.
Play it, but then the passive effects will play regardless of where you are after that.
Yeah,
Right?
he doesn't need to stay there to keep doing it or something.
And
Yeah.
it gives you a follower as well, which is a Swede follower, and then that will put you ahead.
Okay,
of
cool.
me.
So, what we're going to do, we are going to journey. Let's journey these ships, right? So we want to get another ship out, or I do.
Yep.
So I'll go.
Here.
Ships are down there. I'll take it up here. Whoosh across the
Right,
skies.
yeah. One.
Go on, Sigrid. Go on. Go on. Okay, all right. So we're going to go 1 into the sea.
Come
And
down
then
there.
Number 2, yeah, I think we can... Oh, look at that. Beautiful. And then
Then
into the river.
Yeah, that's
And
it,
then
right?
into the sea.
3. No, that's 3.
That
no.
would be 4.
Oh, yeah, because it'd be 1,
3.
2, and then 3. All right, we'll hang out around Petschnegs.
So that's a great distance in one turn, from southern Sweden all the way next to the Black Sea. That's great.
Meh.
Yeah, not something you do every day. Cool. And I've got one more thing I can do. So I can invest, establish. I mean, maybe, I reckon, I should just get another longship out. What do you reckon, guys? Some would say improbable. Yeah, maybe it would... wouldn't be an everyday happening in one day, right? Cool. Let's get another ship out, and so that'd be 1. And so, so I do have a question actually. These ships over in Dublin,
Yes.
what are they doing?
So I haven't talked much about these spaces, and I haven't gone into the details of the follower actions. But basically, they're very similar to the trade centers and the key trade centers I talked about, because they all have costs underneath, and often they're quite high and prohibitive in the first turn. It usually takes a turn or two, so that's why I left it. But it's the same. You get a long ship there. You then have to establish and pay for it, and then you get the follower out. And as soon as you have the follower, it will then give you the special ability. And often they're to do with either getting those ships, and those ships become yours. So if you have Iceland, you get those 2 purple ones, or Barrow, the 2 pink, or Dublin, an extra one, 3, but that's why it costs 9. So you gain the follower, you gain the ships, or in terms of let's have a quick look at Normandy. Often it's something like this: replace 1 Jarl follower on a venture with 1 of yours, which is awesome if you think about it, because you don't have to get your long ship out there somewhere across the board, and you're replacing someone else's with your own. You might want to then send some long ship reinforcements in, but it kind of opens up the game to all sorts of possibilities. So powerful allies really are that. They're powerful.
Okay, and you don't need to get a card from the Saga track, or you do?
No, it's unique. It's unique, but there can be cards, I think, that refer to them. I'm pretty sure about that, or at least in terms of a wind direction.
Okay, all right, cool.
Oh yeah, and friends and gods. Actually, I remember that. So you've got, what is it? You've done your actions, right? No, you're thinking where to go, aren't you?
Yeah, no, I was just looking at Dublin because I was wondering about what they were partying about.
So you can predict that you're going to be getting 1 silver in. So
yeah,
you're going to have 4 silver next turn. You might make some more, I guess.
So I mean, I tell you what, Pete. I'm going to tolerate your presence here at the moment.
Yeah.
Let's put it like that. And I'm going to go 1, and then I'm going to go to 2. Wait, no. So if I did want to go to Wens, I'd need a Wens card from the Saga track, right? Okay, so maybe that's a bit useless just going there, right, for no reason.
Yeah, it's good to look at what cards are coming.
Okay.
So actually,
I mean, I've only got 3 silver, right? So I can only buy East.
1 for 1, the very top one. Blind.
Oh, blind. Yes.
Or maybe head towards the ventures that are already out in the east.
Sorry?
Maybe head towards
those
the
ones,
ventures
okay.
that are already out in the east. They're just waiting to be
Cool.
ventured.
Yeah, sure. We'll go 1, and then we'll go 2 into the river, and then we'll go.
You can go into yeah. So the next turn you can go in.
So, if you does the river count as one turn wherever it goes to?
In a sense, you don't always have to look at the rivers. Just consider the white line. So you're crossing that white line to go into that
Illegal
region,
move.
and then you'd be crossing that white line to go into that region.
I see. Okay. All right. So it'd be 1 into the sea, 2 into the river, and then 3 into Peshnegs again. And that's
If you wanted to go there, or you could go here if you wanted to go towards this venture.
okay. Even though it's not connected by river.
Yeah, don't worry about that, because like those little pictures there show, sometimes they used to pick their longboats up and used to walk.
Sure.
So and actually in geographically in that region there were lots of like little rivers and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Cool. So that is that
Okay.
done. I've done all my turns. I've not
So
spent
you
any
need
silver.
to do your winter solstice.
Let's do my winter solstice.
So 1 silver per unique follower. So
I
you've
get 1
got
silver.
1 Swedish one, so you get the 1.
Cool.
Explain to me, Pete, why there isn't a massive first player advantage if everyone's got the same money to start with. Then, if you're playing with 3, 4, 5, 6, surely you're massively ahead, aren't you? Because you're always sort of following on behind.
I don't think I set up correctly. I think we should have had different amounts. Yeah. So
it'd probably be 3, 4, 3, 4, and 5, won't it?
2.
Yeah, I thought that might be the
give
case.
yourself an extra 1.
Sure.
That's normally what they do. Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. I thought that it automatically did that when I pressed the player button, but yeah, good, well pointed out. So discard tiles to your hand limits. You're fine with that. You got 1. Check power markers. So we've both got one out each. So now I lose my Swedish power marker because neither of us qualify for that.
Cool.
My token goes down. And then finally, restock the saga track. So that's the yellow button here. I'll just press it.
Oh, you'll press it.
Sorry, I'll leave you to press it.
Taking away my agency.
Sorry. So we've got another event card out. See, so again, the saga track, as in all market tracks for PAX games, determines the play of the game.
Cool. So now I can end my turn.
Press that your turn's ended. Cool. Monkey Delaney, over to you, Adam.
For me, indeed. Right, well, I'm in the middle of nowhere up here in Norway.
But remember, you can go up north through here.
You can, but it's still like 1,
and then
2.
Down to Bjarmaland.
I can only get into here though, can't I?
Yeah.
Bjarmaland. So, but that's north here, isn't it? That's the. So north is all this blue area, all right?
Yeah. Not where you are, not Norway though.
No, but Bjarnaland.
Yeah.
Use anyone follow. That's a follower, the king thing, is it?
Okay. So shall I explain follower actions now?
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. So basically, I used to have the Swede follower action, but then Dom equalized the situation and I lost it. But if I had it, basically on our player boards, there are 4 places for the 4 follower actions. And the reason you get the follower token is because you can only do each one once. And so if I had 3 action tokens and then 1 Swede, I could use that Swede token onto the Swede follower space to do that action. Or I could use that Swede token for any of the standard ones, but I can't use any of the normal action tokens for one of these. And what they are...
You can only do the one that it relates to, basically.
Yeah. And so this has been the one change that they haven't, unfortunately, been able to update for this TTS, but the Rus action isn't the one that's printed. Basically, the Rus action enables you to go onto a space and steal a friend from one of your opponents that has a relevant friend from that space. So if you go to the east and someone has an eastern friend, then you can steal that. So basically, to read it out, steal another player's friend requires you to have a ship on a location where this friend could have been played. So your opponent doesn't necessarily even have to be there, but if you have the risk action, you can steal it off them and put it into your hand. You don't put it straight into your player board. The next one is the Sweden action. So that one enables you to draw the top card from the saga pile, from the tile deck basically, and put it into your hand. But if it's a venture card, then you can automatically play it out onto the map, and you get to put down a follower and a longship on it. If there are no empty locations in that region, you can also play it and replace a venture location that is already there, a tile that is already there in essence. So that's so they're always you might start to tell they're all pretty powerful. The Jarl one is people often say is one of the best, perhaps because it's really thematic. Is basically it gives you one free move with a long ship, and that can be a long ship that's already done one journey. So that potentially enables a long ship to do 4 steps of movement, and you take that move and you can remove, if you move into another location, you can remove one rival longship on that space and then establish if that rival has no longships on that space. So in essence, basically, let's say, as a better example, if Dom was here in the Baltic Sea, they could play a Jarldom action to move once in, get rid of my long ship, and then replace my follower and take that location. So it's a pretty powerful action. And finally, the Theocracy. Theocracy is pretty cool because it enables you to place a Theocracy follower or replace another player's Theocracy follower with one of your own on any venture location or powerful ally location anywhere on the board. So you're like literally infiltrating or sending out your Theocracy people to change what other people are believing in some other location anywhere on the board, as long as it's a Theocracy one. But we can go, if you want to ask about them again later on, we can go into them again, but hopefully that'll give you an idea, Alan, if you want to get that card or not.
And when it says use any one follow action, you don't need. You can just that just literally means you don't have to have it. You can just do one of those as a special
card, and then you automatically get to do the action without having to spend another action token. If you had to spend another action token, then the card would tell you, and that is the case with some of the cards.
Right. I don't think I can quite get there anyway, because what I was thinking. Anyway, so my first action is going to be get one of those longboats out. Journey. And he's going to come out there and go 1, 2, and he's going to have to come into this region here.
Yep.
You chilling in Bjarmaland?
Bjarnaland, yeah. And
Bjarmarama.
Bjarnarama. After buying one thing, you get 1 gold back. Okay, that's just every time. It's a permanent benefit.
Yeah, it's a passive.
And so I buy that, and then I'd have to play the establish when I'm in a east space, right? I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
invest action to buy it.
So 1, 2. I can't get into any east spaces. From where I am. And if I was to, I could buy that, and then that happens automatically. These events, don't they?
You buy it, goes into your hand, and then you'd have to do another action, the established play action, to actually play the card out of your hand.
Oh, the events they still need to be played, but they can be played. Oh, and again, I'd need to be in a north square to
Yeah,
play it as an
that
event
card.
anyway.
Yeah, you still need to have a longboat, and you have
Uh,
to, and
So,
you
so,
have to be the lone longboat in that location as well.
so I'd have to get myself into one of these little spaces, which I could do. One, no, I can't.
Yeah,
Actually. I can't get anywhere, can I? 1, 2, 3.
got to get into a north location. Oh,
Five,
east.
Goddamn Vikings living in the middle of nowhere.
3.
Oh,
Yeah.
Commute is terrible.
now
Um,
it's Corona. I mean, so risky. At least they're on longboats. Lots of wind.
so I'm gonna purchase the god for 1.
New goddess to believe in.
The goddess, I should say, yeah. Which is the invest, right?
Yeah.
Um,
You have to pay for it.
yeah, so I've paid for it. It's just 1, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna move this long ship as another action. 1, 2. I'm gonna come in here, I think, into the Baltic Sea, because that's where probably the Vikings should be, and that will be another journey. And
You can also invest and buy a tile blind from the top.
yeah, the top one, yeah.
Yeah, and what that does is, I didn't explain it all, is if there is a 1 tile at the bottom of the saga track, it discards it and then it replenishes the track. So that's also a good way, if you do it early on in your turn, to get a higher cost card. Like, let's say it's at 4, but you take 1 blind, then it'll move down to 2, and then with your next action you could buy it for 2 half price.
Okay.
We want to buy an event at some point to play it, so as to find out what our victory condition is. That'll be exciting. And also, it's well worth having a little explore whilst other people are playing what the different key trade centers do and such. You know, they all have special powers. Some of them even enable you to monopolize on particular types of ventures being built.
I guess getting your ships out isn't a bad thing, is it, at the beginning?
Oh yeah, it's brilliant. Try and get all your ships out, yeah.
So because I've got, I'm just going to bring out a 3rd ship then.
Yeah.
So 1, 2, and this one's going to come this way. There's a big there's a lot of big space there, isn't there? You got a few. Okay, that'll do.
Yeah.
So that'd be my 3. I'm gonna be the explorer. So keep my money.
So you.
So
follow us out.
no, I couldn't. There's nothing to.
You're fine with your hand limit. You still check power markers though if the power balance has changed for other players, but as it is, it's the same. And then restock the saga track. I'll let you.
So you don't get any basic income.
So you let Alan restock the saga track.
Oh, it's just from now on. Just say no. They changed that. There's no basic income. There's a nice juicy card at the top. Check it out. Byzantine gain 3 silver. Last trade. Cool. So do you want to end your turn? Awesome. Okay. So we've got a North card, a Damascus card, Burka, Persia. I think I'll just head out east as well. So before you start, it's good to move your action tokens off, or even while it's not your turn. So I'll do that journey. So I'll get my longship out. Oh yeah, you might want to lock your blue board. So I'll move into the Baltic Sea and then to Bjarma Land, and then to Sarskoy and come and join you there, Tom.
I mean, don't get me wrong. That to me just looks like an act of aggression. Number 2.
No, we're all traders. These are all ventures, my friends. Come on.
Oh dear me.
And then maybe I'll go in a different direction. So I'll go Baltic Sea, North Sea,
Aggressive
and
move.
Norwegian Sea. So that was my second journey. I'll buy that card there. Invest.
Rum?
Okay. So that'll cost 1.
Oh, did you? Oh, you bought the.
North. Oh, sorry. Did you have your eye on that?
No.
Every time, my special ability is every time I play a venture card, so that's from my hand onto the board, I gain 3 silver. Have you looked at your special ability, Alan? Yours is the same in some sense as Dom, but to do with friends. So you don't have to pay anything for friends when you buy them off the saga track, and you can have up to 3. So you put your third one there on the special ability circle, and then you get to place 2 followers on it. So that's pretty awesome.
So you can buy friends without paying money.
Yeah.
And I can buy gods without paying money.
And you can, gods. Yeah.
And gods were what colour? They were the copper ones?
So the only god has been bought so far. Yeah, they're copper by Alan down here.
Oh, this one. Yeah, sorry. Tin or...
Yeah.
Right,
So,
okay.
So I'm going to activate Sphere. So I'll gain 4.
You're activating what? Sphere?
Yeah. So my longship's there, my follower's there, so I can activate the ability there. So it's gain 4 and pay 1 to a co-located rival. So I'll get 4.
Okay.
So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's my 4 actions. What happened there? Okay, so I get 1 silver per unique follower, so I get 1. Discard down to my hand limit, that's fine. Check the power markers, that situation is the same, and restock the saga track. Okay.
So the maximum you can earn, unless there's some special thing, is just 4 then, because there's just really on your turn.
Sorry?
The maximum you can earn at the end of your turn is 4, because there's just 4 unique.
From the followers, yeah, but in your turn there are
Other ways to make money, yeah.
opportunities to make money.
But you can't build up a massive income or something.
Sorry?
You can't build up a massive kind of income stream or something like that at the end of your turn. No.
Not from the followers. I do believe there are maybe cards that can help you. Maybe gods and friends. I'm not sure. What does this friend here do? No.
He's not your friend.
He's gonna be yours, huh?
It's gonna be mine,
Okay.
yeah.
So Dom, still go.
Okie dokie. Right, so we've still got plenty of things to do. But first off, I reckon we are going to go down here and we're going to journey. And it does have to be with the same longboat. But I'm just going to do that, right? And that's all I can do for the journey.
Yep.
Is that correct?
Yep.
I can't use the other 2
No, I'm
for
afraid
another
not.
ship. Okay, that's fine. No problem.
You get a thing out there.
Oh, do I get a roost out?
Yeah.
No, you have.
Oh, no.
So you journey to move into there, but then you're going to have to establish.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to establish over there, which gives me a roost.
And it gives you another longboat there.
And it gives me another longboat. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
On to the Stark Sky.
I'm having a sneaky look at the Twitch here, so
Aha.
see Dom. Ross is making.
Yeah, do say hi in the chat. Let yourself be known. And other people in the chat. do say hi. Let us know you're here.
Yeah, if you have any questions or anything.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, no, that's kind of what it's for.
Easy. Dom's just invented the double-decker longboat. It's beautiful.
It's timeless invention. No police. Oh, you're the fun police, right? I see. Okay. Cool. So that is the first one.
That's
What did
two
they
actions.
have? Jesters.
Yes, second action. Sorry, jesters.
Fun police now, like jesters.
Oh, they had bards. No, not bards.
Ah, yeah.
Bards.
They had storytellers, right?
Yeah. They probably had.
the police.
Have you seen The Last Kingdom? Not least.
I've not actually seen The Last Kingdom, no. But I'm a big fan of Vikings. The series and also the topic in general.
People.
Yeah. You lay off my oral histories, Ross. Ask Alan about his oral history. Alan?
My
I don't
oral
know.
history. I have no idea what he's talking about.
I don't know. Okay, so that's my first two actions. I've got two more things I can do. I reckon the next thing I want to do is to... Where do we want to go? I mean, we want to get boats out, but where are we going?
Just go home.
Adventures, or look at what's on the saga track.
Yeah, no, let's have a look at the saga track. So Dublin is a place.
Don't you want to carry on getting down to Khazar?
Well, yeah. But, hang on.
1, 2, or maybe I go there.
So East is a friend, right? Who definitely doesn't look like somebody from The Last Airbender.
Oh, they were defeated. He's not your friend. Eric.
You're going to try and monopolise all the friends, Alan. What's
He's
going on?
monopoly. Yeah, who isn't your friend in this? Yeah, exactly.
I can have 3 friends, no more than that. We all have to remember social distances. Maximum of 3 friends.
It's 5.
Is it 5? Well, not in this game.
Oh, yeah, no, you and 5 others, yeah.
Yeah, you can be your
Well,
own friend, I guess.
I'll have 3 friends and a god. That's enough for me.
3 friends
A god-
and a god.
A goddess, actually, isn't it?
Okay, fine.
Yeah, get your hands off Eric.
Okay,
Bloody
we're
X.
going to head to Khazar, right? I reckon that's probably the good thing.
Totally, yeah.
It's a good thing.
So I'm going to... What's that say? I'm going to... wrong thing.
The picnic. So you finish with your picnic in picnic.
I'm going to journey from my Pechnags. Pechnags.
Picnic. Picnic.
So that's
Picnic in
1,
Pechnags.
and then 2.
Yep. Straight into the harbour.
Yeah, straight through the harbour, yeah.
Okay.
Khazar!
And with my last one, I'm going to activate. Is that the correct
No,
thing? Or establish?
Venture out, so it's established, yeah, it's like playing.
I'm going to establish Khazar. And that goes
Yeah.
as a friend here.
Yeah.
Not
And
over
then-
here.
No, and then you get the Swedes, so now you're going to be ahead.
The boss of the
You get the
Swedes.
Swede follower. See here.
Right. Yeah. That goes here. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now you're going to be ahead on the Swede followers and the Rus followers.
So
So
that, he
dang.
doesn't. that's the sort of a permanent ability. He doesn't get that now.
no.
Every time he buys one, he gets one back. So basically, he can buy the bottom one for free.
Yeah.
Basically.
And this is the case for all of the cards like this. You have to have the money to pay for something first, even if you get money off. You can't just use the money off beforehand to
Right.
decrease
Yeah.
the
Sure.
cost.
Okay. All
Right,
right.
so
Yeah.
that's the same as my god, then, isn't it? Actually, that friend is identical to my
Yeah.
god.
So you can have
Yeah.
friends for free. I can have gods for free.
And just to
I
say,
know what I
people
prefer.
watching or people watching afterwards, these cards are still in development as well, and they are balancing them and so on. So they are going to change a bit.
Ross is totally lost, so nothing new there. But anything specifically, Ross? I think but this is fun. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? So basically, these, as I understand it, please correct me if I'm wrong, These friend cards are kind of like power-ups you can add to your deck, which give you kind of passive or active abilities. So what's the difference between friends and gods if they're the same? You have 2 friend slots and you've got 1 god slot, so that's one difference. In terms of what they do,
They all do different things,
they all
but
do
these
different things. Yeah.
these two just happen to do the same thing. So I guess
Those two, yeah, they happen to be, and their followers are the same. They're both Swedish followers,
yeah.
but they just happen to be from different locations. So Alan's god is from the east, whereas Dom's
Yeah, it's a bit more
Dom's friend
specific.
is from Khazar.
He has to, yeah. Whereas my god is the god of all of the green. So I guess there's a bit more flexibility there because it could be any of these spots.
Yes, of course.
And if any of you could pronounce what your goddess is called, because there's even a letter in her name that I don't even know what that letter is.
Which letter?
I don't know if you can close it up for the Twitch viewers.
It's basically a th, but you voice it. It's a voiced th. So it's a
No way, really.
Yeah.
Ivan.
Ivan.
Ivan? It's not Ivan. It's a lady. How dare you, Ivan? Ivan, the lady god.
Woman.
Ivan.
Oh, I don't know.
Ivan.
I think it's Ivan, but again,
no. I think it's. I only gone. I done it. I only gone and done it.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, let's end your turn, shall we?
Yeah, let's end your turn.
I'm going to end my turn. Okay, cool. Don't I have to do the winter solstice first? So one silver per unit follower, so I get two silver.
You get it too, yeah.
Discard tile to hand limit. That's fine. Check power markers. This is
where you are the power marker.
Right? I get these 2.
Yeah. So you're going to want to take. Yeah. You want to take
and
2
you got,
of your markers.
But you got to put 2 of your things up there.
What?
Yeah. You put the action markers up to show that you've got them up there, yeah, on each of the spaces. And then we don't need to restock the saga track.
Oh!
So just press that button and say that you've ended your turn.
Turn ended.
Turn ended.
Don't voice the TH. Always voice the
TH. Well...
Yep.
Oh, hold on a minute.
But yeah. We'll be doing shout outs in the chat for birthdays soon.
Right. I'm gonna move. I'm gonna do a transport, a journey. And I am going to journey with this long bloke here.
The long bloke.
The long bloke.
Yeah.
1, 2, and then I'm going to go into here. 3. And then I'm going to do the activate action.
Establish? No.
Oh, yeah, it's establish if you haven't got a follower there yet.
Yeah. So you need to establish.
So I'm going to establish, which is this follower goes there.
Yeah.
And then return one of my longboats and gain 3 money, right?
If you want to do that.
Yeah, I do. I want him to go home.
You want the money.
And get 3 money.
To give ourselves some points if we pronounce the words really well.
3.
Silver.
So that's 2 actions. My third action is I'm going to journey again. And now I'm going to go with this one. Up the Baltic Sea. Up the Baltics. Into there. 1. Into Petuags. And then I'm going to pop in here. 3. And then it's not automatic, is it? Then I'd have to do another establish action now, right? To play
where did you start, though?
You started in the Baltic.
I started in the Baltic, yeah. No. And now I do another establish
Yep.
to play my East god onto my thing, though. She goes onto my
With your
thing.
god, yeah. Space, yeah.
And then I get another follower.
Indeed. So, he's taken that action away from you, Dom. Yeah, he will
Unacceptable.
do in the winter solstice.
That just goes back. So now I actually get 1 money now for my winter solstice. I didn't buy anything. No power. That you do the power markers, restock the market. Nothing to restock. That's it, right?
You've got to do the power markers. Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
your power markers. You go back, right?
Yeah.
I don't get any.
Unfortunately, it just seems to be stuck to my position, so I guess we're just gonna have to leave it there. Okay, and that's fine. Ah, yes, you can
What's
use.
happening is almost like pirate type treachery there, Dom. Okay.
It was work of the gods.
So, I am going to journey because I am interested up here in the top left-hand corner in Faro. So I'm going to move in and I'm going to pay for those bolts. Damn it! So I'm going to establish. So I get a Rust follower.
And it costs you 7 to get both boats. Is that right?
And yeah, it cost me 7.
So what happens if we move in there and fight you? Do you lose the boats or?
Yeah, and whenever those boats are taken out, wherever they're on the board, they don't go to my Jarl board. They go back to Faro. And as soon as someone takes that space off me, the boats go straight back to Faro again, no matter
So
where they are.
what if
So
you
you got to
move
defend it,
all
haven't you?
your boats off?
Sorry, say that again. I didn't
So
quite hear that.
say you moved all your longboats off Pharaoh,
Yeah,
and then somebody went in and just what would they do? They'd pay the
They
money.
would- they would need to do a particular. Yeah, well, you need to parlay to take the follower. Well, hang on. Can you just quickly check? I think maybe you can.
That's weird.
Yeah, you would need to parlay. Well, no, because it's basically like a sort of conflict without any longships there.
Moved in there, they'd need to parlay, clear you off, and then they'd have to pay the 7 and then they'd have to
Yeah,
establish.
and they get it. So that's where the sort of tactics in this game comes in. You know, I still want to protect that area. I might want to count the numbers of how many longships there are around. And just because you take it off me once doesn't mean that I won't necessarily take it back off you. You know that.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Because it's so close to me, it's very easy for me to just move them in there, isn't it?
Yeah. True.
Which is what I'll do.
But you've got to remember that the number of ships that you can move into somewhere and do a parlay action is limited by the number of actions you have. So let's just say you used 3 journey actions and then 1 parlay. So you could only get up to 3 into there. So if I just left my 3 ships there, it kind of...
Are these 2 your ships now? These
Now,
2?
automatically, as soon as anyone puts the follower down on a power ally, they get the ships or whatever the actual effect of that space is.
They count towards your strength, the pink, because you're...
Yeah, so there I've got 3, and my follower is a tiebreaker. So even if one of you put 3 ships down in there, I would still win in the tiebreaker.
But if you move them off to use them, then you weaken.
Yeah. But that's still that. You know, you got to remember you only got 4 actions, so someone would have to spend quite a lot of their actions to take that space. You know, even if I took 1 off, it's still pretty well protected. Anyway, I should continue with my goal. All right, so you lot all got there before me, Sarskoy and Bertus. So I'll just get another one out. Journey. I like getting ships out as well. Oh no, maybe I'll move one now. What should I do? Yeah, I'll get one of mine out. So 1 into the Baltic Sea. And then 2 into the Armorland, and then 1 into Pechenegs. There's that. And then I'm going to establish, like I seem to be enjoying doing. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to, I'll establish, but not play the Sphere location I have. Instead, I'm going to play my North card. So this is going to be the first event as well. So North, I'm in the North. I'm in Sphere, for example. So I can use any one follower action. So I personally quite like the Sweden action, so I'll play that one. So first I'll discard this. So the discard pile is here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to play the Sweden action. So the Sweden action is, I'll read it out again, is draw one tile from the saga pile and put it in your hand. But if it's a venture, I immediately get to establish it wherever it is on the board, and I get to put a long ship and a follower down. So let's have a look. Take one off. Flip it. Oh, no, it's just it's Sphere again, but it's an event. So that goes into my hand. But because I've played an event, we get to see now. Let me take that card off. Don't know if you want to focus on it, John.
Yep.
So your
hands are in the way.
Whoop. So it's a theocracy victory condition. So basically, if one of us gets all our theocracy followers out, and in the winter solstice, we get to check the victory condition, and if we have that, we've won.
So is that the only victory condition we're playing?
In the novice one, yeah.
Yeah, this is a teaching game.
Yeah,
so.
no, that's fine.
But normally you'd have four out there, and then it's.
Well, no, for the basic game, like let's say I took. Well, let's just flip it. It would be like this. You'd have one novice card out and one basic victory condition. And then for the advanced, you could have one of these difficult ones. And then if you really want to go funky and crazy, you can have Eklundian difficulty. So Phil Eklund is the initial designer of the PAX games, or one of the main ones. And so that's pretty damn difficult.
You have to have all three to win.
You'd have to have all four.
All four, in that case, all four, yeah. But okay, right, I see. So you kind of one, and there would be always just one of these. So it'd be one of one type.
Yeah. You can change it. So if you wanted to play just a super basic one, you could just get out four.
It's quite modular, isn't it? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that becomes then a race for one specific type of follower, doesn't it? Then with that theocracy with the
Yeah, but that's all right. I think for beginner games, it's good to either have that or just play basic. So basically, there's two ways the game can end. Either someone actually fulfills that victory condition, or all the cards have been played out the saga track, so they're all gone, and then you check to see who's got the best victory conditions.
Just to double check on the saga track, that the saga track doesn't tick down. It's only when people buy them.
Automatically, no. So, okay. But if you do a invest action and you draw blindly from the top of the deck, then if there's a card at the one point, it gets discarded, and then the whole track gets refreshed. So that's I was telling Alan early on. That's a good tactic if you play that early on in your actions, to then take another action to buy a card cheaper. Yeah. So if I got rid of the one and they all went down, the 4 one that I fancied now costs 2. That's a good little tactic, good little tip.
Righto.
So that's my 4 actions. We now know what the victory condition is. So we've all been going for the wrong followers, as it turns out. Okay, so let's do my winter solstice. So I've got 2 out, so I get 2. I don't have to discard any card tiles. So check power markers. So as it stands, no one qualifies for Swede. And Russ, you're going to have to get rid of your Russ because we're both one of each of those. And then restock saga, no. So I'll end my turn.
Your advantage there, Dom.
So what?
You lost your 2 advantages then.
I know. Terrible. Cool. So, you know what? I think
Where did you get your 6 from, Pete? Did you not spend 7
it
to...
was from this. Look, it was gain 4 and pay
Yeah,
1.
but I had like about 12 or 11.
Oh, did you? And then because you
Yeah.
spent 7 there, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Sphere has been giving me 4 for the past 2 turns. So
Oh yeah,
that
you do that every turn, don't you? Yeah.
I didn't do it just this last one. That's why I'm a little bit lower at the moment.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, I need a way to make some money, so I reckon we might come and pay Sphere a visit.
Oh, I knew that laugh meant something bad. What does your venture do up there anyway?
My venture up there,
Oh, place
I can just
one of
place it
your office locations.
above
Oh,
that.
okay. Yeah.
It's the one for free, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit rubbish, really.
We should be heading east, Tom. All those riches to the east.
All those riches to the east. Yeah. I tell you what, you're right. So I'm going to journey, and from my little port in northwestern Sphere, I'm going to come down into southern Sphere.
Oh, we're done with double decker.
So that's just to clarify for everyone watching. That's 2 turns because you go into the Baltic Sea and then you go into the venture.
Yeah.
With the harbour, yeah.
Right. Okay. So
So-
that'd be journey.
That doesn't automatically cause conflict, though. That's fine. He's just there, right?
So
He's
you
got
wanna-
to.
Why do you put 2 journeys down for 1 longboat? Do you want to put another longboat out?
Well, I did want to put possibly another longboat out.
You'd have to win the parlay, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
No, but I thought you said. So the first
No.
journey is from the port into the sea.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's 2. What I meant is it's 2 points.
Oh, 2 out of 3.
Points, it's not 2 actions. Yeah.
Right. Okay. All right.
Sorry.
That's fine. And then, yeah, no, I am gonna take my remaining ship out and do the same.
Ah. So it's conflict that you want, huh?
No, just reclaiming what's rightfully ours, and then we're gonna parlay.
Too politely to leave.
Yeah, you know, you've been hanging out here and mining our.
But you say you can negotiate stuff, so that means what you could sort of could
Yeah.
agree to leave or something without losing
Well,
your
I
longboat.
could,
Or...
yeah, we can make a trade agreement because what you literally trade is money and tiles. But
Oh,
you can
okay.
also make agreements.
Well, okay, all right. I tell you what then. Instead of me coming and kind of like ripping you to shreds, how about every time you
Oh, you got to be in there to trade, though, right?
Yeah, to actually do the trade, we need
It's
to be.
you got to go in there and do the parlay action, and then you can talk.
Oh, I see. All right. Okay. All right. Fine.
I mean, we can talk anyway, but in terms of actually me giving you any money or you giving me any money or giving each other cards, we need to be on the same location. Yeah.
Okay. Can we set up like ongoing trade agreements?
But we'd have to be in the same location each time. So if you stayed there for a bit, then
And you have to do a parlay action for each one. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you could do the parlay action this time. I suppose I could do one next turn. It depends what it is you're offering, I suppose.
I see. Oh, it's iron. That's what we're talking about. Okay, so I'm offering not to come and slaughter you. As long as we share the riches. 50-50.
So that would okay, rival.
How does that work?
So because to actually activate the space, if just want to check to see if I have to be the only person on there to activate it. So no, only one longship can do the activation. Oh, no, yeah, we can both be on there actually. But then so I would do the activation as my action,
Okay.
and then I would only give you 1 gold though, because I'd have to do a separate action. So I'd get 3, you'd get 1 basically. For you leaving your ship there, that's what would happen every time I do the.
You get the one, and then you could do a parlay to get other negotiations.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, you're
Okay,
getting
so-
one. You're getting one of his. It's 3-1 now by sitting there. Yeah.
Okay, so you want to do that for now?
It's
All right.
is-
So
oh, it is 3-1, is it?
yeah.
Yeah, he gets 3, you get 1 automatically every time he does the action now, which is probably So it's either you kick him out or you get a quarter, I suppose. But to kick him out would take you another 2 actions because you'd have to get another longboat in and then you'd have to do the parlay.
Yeah.
Well, he's
alright,
doing
okay.
the parlay. Well, yeah, that's the interesting thing. In a sense, you don't have to do the parlay for this verbal agreement.
Well, it's not an agreement, this because
You're
this
not
is just
actually-
Yeah.
this is not parlay. This is just the tile, isn't it?
Yeah.
If he's there, then he's
Yeah.
co-located, so you have to
Yeah,
pay
of
him.
course, you can take your parlay action token off, then you have to do it and spend it on something else.
All right. Okay. So far
You've done one
I've
journey.
done a
Yeah.
journey, right? That's what I've done.
Cool. Well, it's good to do a deal, yeah.
We've not done a
think-
deal yet.
No, I think you should go and take it. What happens if all 3 are there? What happens if more than 1 other player's there?
Yeah, I was wondering that. The co-located rival, is
You
that
can only
per ship?
you can only parlay with one other player.
Yeah, but this gain
Yeah,
4 and pay 1. But you choose which one you pay to, then, do you?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you got to pay 1 to 1. Okay. And
Okay.
one thing though, just what are these symbols up here?
Let me have a look.
Pay a scale. Is that down here?
Pay for
So that's
scales
the
of
trade center. So all of these silvery places are trade centers, including these key ones. So that's a trade center. That's a trade center. That's a trade center. Down here's the trade center.
Okay.
It says-
Well,
when it says pay for that, then what does that mean? You pay. You said you pay 7. No.
The 2 hands, they're major allies. So when you pay for one, you then get 3 back. But for Adelan, when you pay for 1 trade center, you get 3 back.
You did that every turn. Then how does that work?
It's a passive ability, and basically you wouldn't necessarily do it every turn. It's just every time.
It's just every time you
Go
pay
somewhere.
for a one of those.
to put
Right.
put the follower down, and you pay the silver. Yeah, every time you do that.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a discount on those things then, really.
Well, and you're putting the follower down, so
hmm.
what are you
Okay.
thinking, Doc?
Okay. So I'm thinking. What am I thinking? I don't understand the difference between event cards and city cards. So you've got Sphere as a city card, but you also picked up Sphere as an event card.
So
Is the event card like a one-time
yeah, exactly
thing?
that.
You don't put it on the actual.
Yeah, no. You play it straight from your hand into the discard pile, and a single event happens. So for my Sphere, discard 1 tile from a co-located rival's hand.
Yeah.
But basically, you can just keep cards in your hand, and then when you discard them, you can throw away. So if we have a deal going, I could. Oh, I just lost it. Something.
It'll come back down. Oh, it's there. Like.
I could just keep it in my hand until I have 5 cards and discard it.
Yeah.
We had a little agreement going.
Okay. All right. What I'm going to do then, I'm going to chill out over here at the moment. I'm going to journey with this longboat. I'm going to go into the C1, into the Mediterranean 2, and then I'm going to go up here into Damascus 3. And what we're going to do with that, we're going to chill out there at the moment, but we're also going to move one of these boats. I'm going to go 1 over here. I'm going to go 2, and then we're going to go 3.
Hang on, isn't that too far?
Oh, it is too far, because moving off the tile is 1, isn't it?
To the region, yeah.
2 into the other region, and 3 over here.
Yeah.
Yep, no, massively overestimated that one, thank you. Okay, and then with the last thing, I'm going to... What is it? I'm going to invest. So my initial thinking was, like, this bottom one down here, it's Damascus, but it's not the actual city, is it?
No, it's just an event, and it's a pretty useless one because no one has southern friends.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get one face down off the track.
Oh yeah.
So I just take the top one for free, right?
Yeah. Scoop it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
By doing that, does he clear this bottom one?
Yeah.
Clear the
And then
one.
you press the white button up there.
Yeah. Oh dear. Okay. Invest. Boom.
Oh, nice one. So we've got a new. It's just all event cards, isn't it?
It's all event cards. But anyway, okay.
Beautiful.
Stick that out there. Cool.
It's a nice event you got it.
That's an interesting event, yeah. Over at Miklegard.
One, did you?
That's down here.
Did you pay your one?
Do you have to pay a 1 when you pick up from
When you take it blind, it doesn't cost you anything.
Oh, it doesn't cost anything when you take it blind.
No.
Cool. So in which case, that is my turn.
Cool. So let's do winter solstice.
Let's do winter solstice. So first off, 1 silver per unique follower. So I've got 2.
Yep.
And then discard tiles to hand limit. No. What is the hand limit? 5?
4.
4. Okay. Check power markers. Nothing's
no
changed. Yeah. And then restock the saga, which doesn't need to be restocked.
No.
Cool. Okay. So over to you, Alan.
Over to you, Alan.
So my first. What's that from called when you take from the top? Is that still the invest action?
Yeah, it's still invest. You can invest in 2 different ways.
So okay, so if I was to do that, then I get a coin as well by doing it with my gold. Like, so Tom, you should have got a coin, right?
What for?
Because you invested, you bought a thing, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
You came with.
Wait, hang on. I've also lost one of my markers. No, I haven't. Is that cool?
So I'm going to do the same as what Dom just did there by investing blind and getting paid for it.
Yeah.
With my god.
Not bad. You guys are going to be making piles of money now.
It's just the guy sitting on the iron mine.
Another event.
That's what that was.
Normandy. Okay, that's not bad. It's close, isn't it? So I got to press this button now.
Yeah. What we got? Oh, juicy. Oh, 2 Byzantines out now. And there are 2 spaces, so that could be a bit of a fight.
Could be.
Bureaucracy, though, I've noticed. This is going to be a bit of a toughie.
So I'm going to now move my journey. Have a little journey. And we're going... Where are we going?
Don't stop believing.
Normandy. Oh, so this is an event, right? So I need to get here to do that. Oh my word. Replace.
Well, it's not too far, right, from up there.
Yeah, but then I'd have to pay 8. Oh no, I don't have to pay the 8, do I? That's if I just do the thing. I can get in there.
Yeah.
And then I can then that event happens. Just move one of your things 1 step, which isn't really what I need at the moment. So let's see if I can get somewhere else. Oh, hold on. Actually, I'm going to go. So I'm going to move my longship. Another. Oh, I just did that, didn't I? And I haven't moved the ship. So 1, 2, and I'm not going to. I'm going to the Atlantic Ocean because I got there and then I went home last time. I am going to activate. Am I going to do that now? I don't want to keep sending that one home. I'm going to do another journey. One. I'm tempted to go to.
You got some money?
Yeah, I sort of think I might go to Iceland and do what you did there.
Mum's gone to Iceland.
And then it's a separate action to pay that, to do that 7, right?
Yep.
Which would be the establish. It cost me 7.
Yep, so they're yours now.
They're mine, and I get another. Shame it isn't victory condition.
So you're ahead with the Swedes. I like the Swedish follower action as well. It's another pull blind of the tile at the top of the deck. But and it goes into your hand. But if it's a venture, you get to put it down on the map, and you get a follower and a longboat. So don't forget to take your income as well.
I mean, it's 2. Well, 1.
One. Yeah, you don't have a risk.
And that is it. I get the power marker. Restock the sagas. No, that's all done. All good. End turn.
Okay.
Flying through it now.
So I'm going to do that establish over at Sphere. So I'll get 3 and you'll get 1, Dom.
Fair enough.
So that's great. And I'm gonna journey from the Faro. I'm gonna use one of my nice new pink longships into the Norwegian Sea, up to Greenland, into Greenland itself. So I'll sit there for a minute. And my thinking is that I'm not gonna take it yet because the special ability on taking, and you only get to the special ability when you take it, is to replace one Theocracy follower on a venture with one of my own. And there ain't any other followers out of anyone else's anywhere, so there's no point doing that yet.
One that goes on here, wouldn't there? When you do that.
Yeah, I would do that, but I would like to wait until the opportunity of getting a second one if I'm paying all that 8 silver. So I'm just going to wait, see what happens. Meanwhile, I would like to, let's have a look. What are the cards? Persia. So just in case anyone's confused about the Persia event, it says use 1, and that's an action marker token.
Sorry, where is the Persia event?
At the bottom of the saga track,
okay.
There's the Persia action.
Yeah.
So that's use 1 action token as 1 Rus.
Yeah.
So you'd put 1 action token down to establish, and then as that action, you would take one of your other action tokens and you'd put it down on the Rus space, and it would count as a Rus action. And the Rus action is stealing a friend, so those with friends beware.
Stealing a friend? I thought it was... Oh, hang on, for you.
Rus action, yeah. So the Rus action, like I was saying before, unfortunately hasn't been updated
They've changed it.
All the
I see.
player aid. And so the Rus action is basically stealing a friend if your longship is in the relevant place. So so the only example we've got is Khazar. So if you had that event card and you were in Khazar,
Yeah.
then you could play it and steal that friend. So the next one is an Eastern friend. So when defeated, move your longship one step out of location. So I presume that means you don't lose your longship, you just move it out. Pharaoh, move one step. Byzantine. Okay, so I'm going to do that little trick I was talking about before. So I'm going to invest blindly. Take that. Oh, it's a little friend. So I'll put that down.
It's like the same guy.
It is the same guy.
It does look the same, but the special ability is different.
Oh, no. It's a different guy. He just looks similar. Yeah. It's fine. This is Oleg of Novgorod.
Was supreme ruler of Rus from 882 to 912.
Are you going to put more flavor text on the real discs or real cards? Do you know? Or?
Yeah, there will be. So there will be thematic text at the bottom of every card, and the artwork will be different.
Yeah.
They replicate some of the artwork for this TTS, but
yeah. No, it's because I think it's already looking amazing.
Because like PAX games have really nice flavor text though, so it'd be nice to get that on there because.
So I just press Y. Yeah, no, it really does. Yeah, it helps so much with the thematic gameplay, doesn't it? So I've just discarded that bottom card, and so now I'm going to use my last action to buy that tasty Byzantine card. I'm afraid, everyone, whoever else had their eyes on it before. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the end of my go. So I get 2 for my 2 unique followers. My hand limit's fine. So checking power markers. So now Sweden's fine. Alan's holding that. Rus, no one gets that. Yeah, that's it. Cool. Restock Saga. And you will go Dom.
Okie dokie. Right, so I think, honestly, we're just going to have to chance it a little bit. We're going to invest over here, which is going to give us 1 coin. And we're going to take the top one off this. That's Northern. Where is that? This is Sapmi. Sapmi. Return 1 of your ships and then draw 3. Ooh, wow.
Nice, isn't it? Oh, and it's a theocracy thing as well.
Yeah.
But Sapmi is where your thing is already, so you'd have to replace your thing.
Replace it.
Oh. No.
But it's a rubbish one anyway.
Would you have to replace it?
To get that out, you would. And let me just explain.
That's fine.
Let me just explain the last rule, just so that we get all the rules out.
Cool.
And that rule is duchies. So let's just have a look up here at Sarskoy.
Where are you?
Sorry,
there. Okay.
Up here in the east. So in regions like this that have 2 potential venture spots, if the same player has both, then they now own what is called a duchy. So if you, Dom, had a venture here with your yellow follower out, you would have a Sarskoy duchy. And with duchies, what that means is that when you deploy a longship out of your home, you don't have to just deploy from your home. You can deploy from either of your duchy locations. Okay. So you deploy from your home into the Baltic Sea, or you could deploy from the ventures out of the ventures into Sarskoy. So the first movement wouldn't be into one of the ventures, it would be into Sarskoy. So that's, I do believe, all the rules now explained.
That's known as pass the duchy.
Pass the duchy to the side.
This is the quality entertainment people are watching it for.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So does that mean that in a region that only has 1?
Yeah, that's why I wanted to say that for Sapmi can't have a duchy, And anywhere actually that has a trade center or a
Right.
mighty powerful ally cannot have a duchy.
So,
Okay.
how do you to replace a card? He just needs to go in there and
Well,
basically
he's
will
already
replace,
there. So, yeah, all he could have to do is play an established action, and he would just replace the card.
replace
And
and the follower would come home. If it
Yeah.
was a different type of thing, it would be replaced with whatever the new type is.
yeah, which it is.
Which is what I'll do. So I'm going to establish. Oh, do I need a ship there?
You,
I've got a
you
ship
need to
there.
get there. You got
Oh,
a ship there,
yeah.
so you can just
So
establish
I'm
it.
going to
Yeah.
establish. So I'm going to send my thing up to Sapmi. That goes to the
That
discard, I guess, or to my hand.
That one will come home.
To my hand.
Oh,
No, the follower comes home, and you put the other type of follower there, right?
Yeah, no, I was talking about the card.
No,
Oh, that goes discard.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. And then, as the same action, I get to put the follower out.
Yeah, you get your
That's the same action, yeah.
Okie dokie. So
Nice.
And do I get the text, or do I have to activate for the text? Right.
Well, you did
yeah,
activate it.
you get the text. If you want to return one of your long ships, you can draw 3 tiles.
Yeah, I think I will do that.
So where are you gonna?
What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna return this long ship here.
No,
To steal a card off someone, you basically got to parlay, right?
to steal a card.
Well, to basically take the power, be able to do the power.
Tile, yeah, adventure, yeah. Or Jarl action. That's one we haven't seen in action. The famous Viking invading and pillaging.
Okay, so I've taken 3 cards.
Awesome.
So,
Oh, okay. Yeldum gets rid of them, right? Okay.
Wow, nice.
So I've got a Damascus, but it's an event. It's a friend.
It's a friend. So it's a passive ability. Anytime that you end a journey in a south location, you get 2. Awesome. Hilal Asabi. Cool.
You'd have to move though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Move if you end in the south. Nice little money earner. And you've got a good venture there.
Yeah, no, that's
money from the fur trade.
Normandy, the Paris attack of 885. Okay, and interesting. All right, okay. So again, it doesn't mean I can establish a city in Damascus, though, does it?
Well, you can now. You've got enough money.
Oh, okay. So I've just got to pay for it.
Yeah, you've got to do the establish action.
Okay,
And then
let's do that. I'll pay for it. Oops.
So yeah, you get 2 more theocracies.
Oh, it's down to 3, isn't it? And I get 2 more theocracies. Cool.
And your special ability from now on is so whenever anyone pays for a theocracy tile, they pay you.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I've got 1 more left, and
Everyone pays for a theocracy tile. That's quite handy.
Yeah.
From the saga track though, not like a powerful ally or something.
so this. Oh right, I see. Okay. So that's fine. And I'm going to.
You could play your friend if you wanted to.
Could play my friend, but at the moment I'm just gonna have a little journey. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3.
Wow. Fortifying.
A little bit. Okie dokie. And so, Winter Solstice, right?
Yeah.
1 per unique follower, so I get 3. Discard tiles to hand limit, so I'm at my hand limit, so that's fine. Check power markers. Ooh. I believe I get this one.
Yeah.
And
Replace rival menu on the board. Oh, cool. That's pretty. That's a nice one. That's the one you want, isn't it?
But it has to be theocracy there.
How did he get 3 theocracies down? Jeez, where'd they come down? In Damascus.
And restock the saga. So that's that, and then I think that's the end of my turn. So, Alan.
Well, I'm going to do.
So what?
You're halfway to heaven.
Yeah.
Valhalla waits.
I'm going to do the Sweden follow action.
Awesome, yeah, I like that.
And grab this. Does the bottom card still get discarded? Is it in the same
Not
way?
with the Swede action, but is this a venture? Oh, unlucky.
No.
Same to me. You didn't get a venture.
Gain 5 money though. It's not bad.
Yeah, you have to play it obviously, but yeah. Ooh,
Yeah, but it's in the north. It's quite easy to get to, right?
Yeah.
Where's?
No, you're not in the north. Yeah. Well, but it's not difficult, yeah.
Where is the north? That's
all of these white areas here.
Yeah.
It's sort of whitish blue, light blue.
Oh yeah, okay, the blue. It's a blue one.
Yeah,
So
the compass is a nice reminder here.
so that's my second action. Then is I'm going to do a journey, and this guy is going to go 1, 2, and then into the north. 3. And then he'll do. Then I will play the establish. Is that right?
What are you trying to establish?
That event.
I think so. Yeah, I think that's right.
Is establish or activate? What's activate? Oh, no, actually, because I'm already there. Yeah, activate. So then I just do that. That just happens. That goes into the discard pile, and I get 5 money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now I'm going to use my special ability to get a friend for free. And I'm going to get this friend up here.
Ooh.
You may buy the top thing of the discard pile for him when I do it. So.
Oh wow, yeah, no, that's quite good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Dong.
It's got a real Norman helmet there.
So that was my which one was that?
Halden Faldig.
I think it was an activation, right?
No, it was the buying the card, wasn't it?
You
So it was an
activated
invest.
the event.
Oh no, it wasn't. So no, it was this thing here. It was this. Oh, so it's an invest because it was this thing, special ability. So it was the invest.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's it. That's my turn.
Cool.
So that's 1 money, and no change. Check power. Restock saga. No, yeah, we restock the saga.
Have you still got? Yeah, you've still got the top one. Oh right, so because you've got the Swedish leader token, does that mean you can do that ability
Every time? Yeah.
every time? I see.
Only once. That's why you just get 1 token. You see.
Well, once per turn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Once per turn. I see.
But I could also use that for any of these normal actions. So I don't. So it does count as one of these. It's just like a super powered, slightly better one of these, really. Oh, that sorted out a little bit of income. I was a bit short of money, and that was. Oh, I've got these boats up here, haven't I? I like it. I like it, Pete. I think it's nice.
Cool.
It's a nice game. Yeah.
Yeah,
What do you think?
good so far.
I don't think it's too complicated, I
It's
think
not,
good
no.
for,
No, it's not.
entry level packs. But you've never played a PAX game, so what do you
I'm
think?
not. No, yeah, exactly. This is my first foray into the PAX. I have watched other PAX games.
I think this is a gateway
played,
one.
but I think no, it definitely is a gateway. It's straightforward. It's simple.
Yeah.
My first impression would be, maybe that's just my case, but would be like differentiating a city card from an event card. But if they're using different art for it, I'm sure it will make more sense.
Yeah, I mean, like, you got that little V, the venture. That's the event is the crown, right? And then
The crown,
so that's so venture, and the city card is a venture one, isn't it? And an event is so I think that icon. I was getting a little bit confused, but I think it is there. I think it's just you get.
Okay. Yeah. Again, just me then.
Yeah, I was struggling a little bit, and then I sort of like, because you always do with iconography of games, isn't it? Until you get used to it. But I think it's there.
That's what I found with my first game, that it was a little bit disorientating. I wasn't exactly sure what to do, but I think with this novice game, knowing that it's just a theocracy victory condition, we can kind of focus on that. So saying that, I'm going to do a journey action.
So it was like you got to go and fight him in Damascus.
Well, do you? Because actually, Pete up here in Greenland, he's sitting pretty.
Well, he could replace any one, so he could replace one of yours then.
Yeah.
So you could.
But then he can just do an action to get it back. So I need to plan that more.
How does he get it? What action does he do to get it back? If you just replace one, he just does a
establish.
Oh, you just do establish again.
So I'm going to move into the Baltic Sea, then the North Sea, and then into Dublin. Oh, but I haven't got enough money for it. Ooh.
Well, that sounds like a terrible move, Pete.
But I'll do the Sphere. Oh, but you're not in there anymore, so I get all the money, mate.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I establish in there, so I get 4.
I mean, I guess one of the things about the novice game, where it's just one, what is it? Action, just one follower type as the goal.
Yeah.
If you kind of do what I'm doing, which is go and kind of fortify a place, it means you've got less ships out there to actually go and get money and kind of become more powerful.
Yep. And so that's why you might want to start buying for Iceland, the Faroe, or Dublin, or some of the other powerful allies. There are other interesting things you can do. Powerful allies. Like, one of us should maybe really consider the easy option of going into the Jarl follow action, because that's a pretty powerful one, because it enables your longships to move 1 extra and do an immediate attack of taking away one of your opponent's ships. So it's a pretty good action in terms of just...
What action is that, sorry?
That's these follower actions on the left-hand side of the board? That's the Jarldom action. Move 1 longship 1 step into a venture. So you can only do this action in a venture, and you remove one of your rival's longships to then establish in there if there's no more rival longships. So it's like a kind of more powerful version of Parlay, but only for ventures.
But can you do that? So how do you do that? So do you spend a follower to do that? Do you?
So that's the same. Up here.
Or do you have to have this thing up here?
You need to have the follower marker.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And then you spend that to do the action. So it's an interesting one to think about.
What if the deck runs out then?
Well, that's how the game ends. Yeah. That's another way of ending the game.
And then who wins then?
So, just to make that clear for everyone, let's just run down the victory condition. So if in the winter solstice you complete the victory condition, then you've won the game outright. But if it's not certain, or if, let's just say, for some reason, I don't know if this is possible, but I know it is for other victory conditions, 2 or more players have also completed victory conditions, then basically a victory beats another victory based on the rank written on the card, where lower number beats a higher number. So I don't believe there are any numbers on the one we have. So, yes,
17.
number 17. We're only playing with 1 card, so that does out. So the next thing is, if any players are still tied, the one who has the most followers placed out in total, so of all the kinds, they win. Players are still tied, the player with the most silver wins. If they're still tied, then the crown is shared, and it's an unusual event, but there are 2 kings or queens ruling together.
It's run out. You mean?
So?
That would be what, when the deck has run out?
Yeah, and that will be when the deck has run out, yeah.
So when that top card is flipped, or
when basically all of the saga deck is empty and all of the saga track is empty.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. But there are 11 more cards. So we're coming up to 12:30. How do you guys feel? Do you want to keep playing for a bit or save it for another time? Or like I'm happy to keep going, but
I mean, there's probably a good hour or so left in it, though, isn't there? The way we go.
Yeah.
So we could maybe come back to it. I don't know.
So, yeah, I think probably better too. Yeah, we could sort
of. So should I just finish my turn?
Well, let's have one more turn each. So then we finish it.
And then we can save the game and come back to it.
Yeah, and save the game and come back. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So I wanted to continue with my journey south. So I'm going to journey again. So I've got this long ship here in Pechenegs. So I'm going to go down into the Byzantine, Black Sea, and then into one of the Byzantine locations because it's reachable via a harbour.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to play my Byzantine venture with the Stabler. So, forgot about that. Try and do that away. And I get a Swedish follower. And I gain 3. Winter Solstice, I get 2 silver for having 2 different types of followers. My hand is fine. So, in terms of the power markers, I think everything stays the same. Swedes, Alan, you keep those. Rus, no one does. And Theocracy, Dom, you keep those. Okay, so restock Saga, no, that's fine. So, Dom, it's your go.
Cool. Okay. So, I am going to first off. Oh man, there's just so many things you can do. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get really thematic with this. I think. It's pretty good fun.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see lots of depth to this.
And it's all dependent on what cards come up as well. You know, there's lots of playability.
Yeah. Cool. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get one of my longships out. Let's just take these off. I'm going to get one of my longships out. I'm going to journey. I'm going to go 1. I think we're going to... I don't know where we're going to go, actually. Where should we go?
Well, you do have a venture you could get out, and you've also got your friend in Damascus.
I do have that. I just feel that I need to get another ship out.
You can go to Pechenegs.
I could go to Pechenegs. Because that's a venture, isn't it? And that gives me 2 per thing. It's not that much, but it's not under massive thing at the moment. So yeah, sure, why not?
You're a Rus follower as well, and that will make you controller of the Rus action.
The Rus follower? Oh, I see. Yes.
Yeah. Not only will you be doing the bear.
Right. Okay. You've got it.
Is that like automatic? He can use that Rus action, or is that at the end only? He gets at the end of the turn, or so you don't get it.
Yeah, you wouldn't get it now. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's always
so 1 over that. 2.
You kind of got to hold it for 1 round, really.
Yeah. The regions, you won't be able to get Pechenegs out yet.
That's fine. So we've got that cooking. I might as well put my friend Damascus while I'm there. Put him
And
in.
that will give you dominance over the Rus condition.
Exactly.
Rus,
So to do that, that would be an establish. Right. Okay. Fine. Still not
They
doing
have
it.
changed the name of that, so the components will look different. It's called play now, which I think is a little bit easier to understand. You're like playing a card out of your hand.
Yeah. Cool. Oh dear me. And so that's that.
So your theocracy action token, you're just going to have to use as a standard action, I think.
So what I don't understand, you know, the action I paid 9 on Damascus. Gain payments made for that and that. Is that ongoing, or is that?
Yeah, so that's like a passive ability. So the next time that a player, including yourself, pays for a theocracy tile, so that's off the saga track.
Is that a one-time thing, or just
ongoing? That's going while you own
while I hold it.
While you hold it, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Cool.
That is interesting. Oh, so like if I did hold that, I could potentially buy the top one for free if I had 12 coins, because I'd pay myself back.
Yeah.
But the top one is an event. But
if it was theocracy, you mean?
If it was theocracy.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Cool. That's interesting.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you could really dominate and win in this theocracy condition.
We'll see.
Good foothold here,
yeah. So we can't do passion eggs, and we've got 2 more things we can do. We can get another boat out. Where do we want to take it? We want to take it. I mean, I don't have too much money. Not much I can do up there. So,
well, like I said, you might want to prepare and trying to head up for one of the powerful allies. You know, they are indeed powerful allies, so you might want to consider taking one or preparing for one.
Oh, right. So, for example, you've gone over here. Would it be that we'd have to have a battle before one of us could get these ships?
Yeah, because you have to be the only one.
Right. Okay. So let's do that. Let's get them out there.
Let's get it on.
Let's get it on.
Fight it out.
So we're gonna go 1, 2, and then 3 to Dublin.
Yep. Oh,
bit of a crash landing. There we go. And I've got one more thing. I've actually got a theocracy token, and while I've got it, I might as well use it.
You've got nothing to play it against though as an action, so you might as well just play it as a standard action.
What do you mean I've got nothing to play against?
The theocracy action means that you place or replace a rival theocracy anywhere on the board. So there has to be already a theocracy.
It's a venture. It's not a longboat.
Not a longboat, yeah. It's a
I see. Okay, all right. So let's ignore that. In which case, let's try and activate one of the cards we're on.
So this fight here, this would be parlay, right? At the moment, and at the moment you'd be mutually destructive, right? Because you both got one each.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's something to consider, I guess.
Do it, Dom.
Alan just wants me to parlay so he can swoop in from the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh, yeah.
I see his game. Never trust Alan. Not too much.
Hang on. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me just read this out to you. Place a theocracy follower or replace a theocracy follower with one of your own on any venture or powerful ally location anywhere on the board. So I think you could just place one straight out, actually.
Way to go, though, surely.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah. I think you can just play that one.
Place. No, it says rival thing, though, right?
If that's still what it says.
Rival thing anywhere on the board.
Yeah.
Oh, does that mean that say somebody else had one out?
Yeah, exactly. You can just swap it.
I could swap it.
But also it says place a theocracy. I'm just reading straight from the rules.
Yeah.
Place a theocracy follower or replace a theocracy follower with one of your own. So if we ignore the or replace theocracy, just read it. Place a theocracy follower with one of your own. On any
Where? On
In
any
rules book.
venture.
location anywhere on the board.
But there are no ventures out, right? They've got a space. So
Well, I could do that one, for example,
Powerful
right?
ally.
Is that a venture?
Oh.
Yeah, you could put.
Right.
But
yeah.
that's not. It's got to have. Surely it's got to have that icon, right?
It's got to have a theocracy icon.
But is But these aren't ventures. These are.
It has to be a venture or a powerful ally.
Oh, it says powerful ally in the
rules.
So you can place that there without paying the 7.
No, you'd still have to. Whenever you put the follower, they pay the money.
You have to pay the money.
Yeah, so for a powerful ally, if it's the theocracy, you'd still have to pay the money. So I'm just looking up the living rules now, just to sort of double check.
Sure.
But, yeah, it reads exactly the same. Yeah. So what are your options? Sorry, I wasn't looking at the TTS. So Greenland potentially.
Yeah.
I hate to do it though.
It'd be 8 in Greenland. It'd be 7 in Iberia.
Oh, for Iberia, of course.
But I can't afford either of them, so we'll ignore that.
That's something to think about because it's your action. You can do
it's something to think about. Cool. In which case, with my last action, what I'll do, I'll just ignore that thing for now. I'll do an invest because it gets me 1 coin, which I need, and I'll take the top one.
Oh.
So, Abbasid.
And it's a Jarl follower action, potentially. Could be good.
Cool.
We've lost...
what have we lost?
We've lost Alan.
Have we? Oh, his TTS might have crashed. Okay. Seems to be a bit unstable lately.
Seems to be here. Can you hear us, Alan? He seems to be on the Discord still. Maybe he's out of that as well.
Yeah,
well, this could be a good time to save then, maybe.
Yeah. No, let's leave it here.
Do you want to just finish your winter solstice so then we'll know it's
yes,
Alan's go?
So 1 silver per unique follower. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh no, it's just 3 because you haven't got the Alden.
You're absolutely right.
Because no one has Sweden, you have it already. So you get the Rus.
So I get the Rus as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oops, sorry. What am I doing? Rus goes over there. Cool. And so
action marker.
That goes up there. Thank you very much. And so these come down. I've got the hand limit. Power marker's done. Restock saga done.
Okay, grand. All right. Well, I'll save the game.
Yeah, you saved that there. Just before we kind of talk about the game.
I'm
itself,
back again. I'm back actually.
Yeah.
Oh, Alan's back. We were saying we were going to save it there, but we can't see your TTS.
It's okay. I would say a massive thank to everybody in the chat and for watching along. If you're watching, do make sure to give us a follow on our Twitch channel or YouTube or etc. And we'll post those in the link on the chat and the description. And yeah, no, it's been quite fun. Thank you very much. So yeah, you were saying, Pete.
Yeah, well, should we just, because we're finishing the stream, should we just play again in the next few days? Yeah.
Yeah, no, we can.
Or even tomorrow, whatever.
We can wrap this up and schedule another game soon.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, I'm really impressed with that.
What did you do as your last section, then, Dom?
I just took a random saga deck.
Yeah. I just took an extra. It's an Abbasid card. It's hidden under the Pechenegs there.
I was trying to. So,
I thought that went well. I think that was good, and the stream seemed to go well.
Stream's going well. Okay.
were there lots of people on there?
Yeah, we've had quite a few people doing that.
Was
Thank
it
you
like
everybody for joining.
Six coming and going, yeah. Oh, are you still streaming now?
We're still streaming, yeah.
Oh, okay. You're still showing the screen? Because I'm yeah. I got I got to try and remember. I had my turn planned out, and I've got to make sure I remember it before we come back next time.
I'm sure we'll get there. No worries. Anyway,
I'm going to do that.
Yep. See you all soon. Thank you very much, Ross. Thanks for being in the chat too. And,
Yeah, thank you. I'm sure he made very valuable contributions.
Always. Cool. All right. See you guys. Thank you very much.
Cheers. See you, everyone. Thank you.
Yes.